This is a demo video of the QT Pi, and I don't know how to say it, but XIAO demo cards. QT Pi is by Adafruit. XAIO is a Seed Studio card. That card has an RP2040 on it. We'll take a look at the application of doing an SD loader. It will move data from an SD card out a serial port.
All right, let's go ahead and select the file. Select it from the G through L folder. I'm going to select Life 2.
That's the file that's shown over here in Notepad++ on the PC. It's been loaded on the SD card already. On the left here is the Thani window, just kept up for reference. Not using it in what we're doing. And then in the upper right here, I've got an FTDI card connected to the serial output from the SD loader card set.
FTDI card. QT Pi 49 with stuff around it. And we're going to send it over the COM port.
And it captures anything that comes out on the serial port, and it's right now configured for 9600 baud. So let's go ahead and click the button to send the file and see what happens.
See the light blinking on the FTDI card.
And there it is.
And it's done.
So if we scroll back up and the file is received, you can see if this Teraterm window is emulating what we would have if we had a target system like an old retro computer of some sort. In this case, it's running at TTL level or 3.3 volts serial levels. But it could be converted to RS-232 or anything like that with an external card. Top of the file is print tab 33 life 2, and that's exactly what we see. We'll scroll to the bottom of what we received, and we received 999N. So it looks like it works great. It's capturing all the right stuff that gets sent out. I like it. Let's take a look at the menus.
Step through the menus here. First was select the file. When you click that, it opens a list of the folders. Go to the folder you want, and you can scroll down. It's not in that folder. Let's pick one out of the next folder, and we'll pick this file. And that's it. Bottom line on the screen shows what file we selected. We want to set up the COM port. Select that. Set the baud rate. Set it to 115/200 baud, kbaud. And exit out. And let's send the file out with that button. It's uploaded pretty quick at 115.2 kbaud. And that's it. Loads what's on the SD card and sends it out the serial port. There's ground. Probably don't want to hook up the power for most setups, but there's hardware handshake, RTS, CTS. If you select it in the menu, it's one of the options. In the COM configuration menu, should be able to select handshake type, RTS, CTS, X on, X off. I have it shut off right now because there's nothing hooked up to it, and it would just wait till something got hooked up. Protocols. Serial could do X modem, could do S record. A lot of these aren't implemented yet, just showing them in the menus as a placeholder. And that's it. Pick the speed you want, any of the handshake protocols, shows the current status of the serial interface is 115 2K baud. It's set up for straight serial with no extra protocols and no handshakes. And when you're done, select exit and then send the file. And it's uploaded. The card on the top is a card that I call the My Menu card, and it consists of a 128 by 64 OLED and 5 switches, up, down, left, right, and then a select switch. It has 3 status LEDs on the side here. The next card down in the stack is the QT Pi card. It would run with either a Seed Studio card or with a Adafruit card. It breaks out, the card it's on is called the QT Pi 49. It breaks out the signals into separate headers and they're wired off. One of the headers is the SPI bus header, and that goes down to the SD card, which is my SD card 49. All of these cards are 49 by 49 millimeters, and they're made to stack together with 440 hardware standoffs and screws and nuts and that sort of thing. Easily mounted in a chassis. The QTY Pi card is powered off a regular 9 to 12 kind of a wall wart power. It's got a regulator on it for that. Let's see, it does switching. If you want to power it off of the USB, it'll automatically switch between that and the external port, and the diode there protects the port. And the bottom card is just the normal SD card 49 as I call it. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You just hook up the cables at the end to the host that you want to run with. Hook up handshakes if you want them. Have to hook up ground and have to probably hook up transmit and receive. At least transmit if all you want to do is send to a card. And that's all there is to it.
The QTY49 card can take either an Adafruit QT Pi card, or it can take a Seed Studio XIAO, don't know how to pronounce that card. The card could be one of 2 processors. It could be a SAMD21 based processor from both manufacturers, or they both offer an RP2040 version, which is the same chip used in the Raspberry Pi Pico. The card breaks out all of the pins to headers on the right, and they're grouped logically. The AD0 through 3 get their own ground voltage signal pins. The D4 and D5 break out to are also the SDA SCL, the clock and data and clock for the I2C bus. On the next 4-pin header, the next is transmit and receive, and then power and ground. And the last header is the connections that go off to the SD card that are the SPI bus connections. It has flexible power. You can power it off the USB cable connector, or you can power it off a wide-ranging DC power supply in the back, anywhere from 7 to 12 or maybe even a little more volts. It has its own regulator, and the diode does automatic switching into the card itself. The SD card is another 49 millimeter square card with 440 mounting holes in the corner. Very nice to mount in the chassis. It has a full-size SD card socket on it. It has the SPI connector on the left. In the middle is a voltage translator. The card can be run at 3.3 volts or at 5 volts, but the power to the card, the SD card, is always 3.3 volts, and that's provided by a regulator to top if 5 volts used. In this particular instance, we're running it at 3.3 volts because that's what the QT Pi and XIAO cards run at. It also has an access light that lights whenever the card is being read or written. This is the My Menu card. It consists of an 0.96 inch OLED. Could be blue or white. They have different color ones. There's also 5 switches and 3 LEDs on the card. The 5 switches are up, down, left, right, and select. The LEDs would let you see what menus you're running, or if you have an error code or something like that. They're not currently being used. On the back of the card is an MCP 23008 I to C port expander. It lets you have a single 2-wire interface connection up to the card. One set of things that are connected to on the card are that MCP 23008 I to C port expander, and the other is the OLED. So it's very efficient for pin usage from the QT Pi, which has a real limited number of pins. It only uses the same pins for the display as it does for the buttons and the 3 LEDs that are on the card. I'm not currently offering this card. Having difficulty getting the chips that are on the back. They're on allocation right now. I hope this was a helpful demo on some of the capabilities of the QT Pi or XIAO card. Wish I knew how to say that. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And the data files for this should be up on GitHub, the source files. It's all written in CircuitPython. Thank you to the folks at MicroPython for giving a good base for people to build on. If you want more information, you can see our wiki pages for these products, and we have YouTube videos on them as well. We have a store in Tindy where we sell all of our cards. Thanks for watching our video, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.